This broadcast is the property of Codependents Anonymous. Reproduction without written permission from Codependents Anonymous is not permitted.
Today's fellowship forum is a discussion and show and tell about how to find information at CoDA.org. About 2 years ago, CoDA began a process of updating the CoDA.org website that continues even today. And the CoDA website is chock-a-block full of information that you may used to know how to find and are wondering how to find it again. Also, you may have found some secrets you would like to share with us in today's fellowship forum. I'm feeling a little under the weather today, and so I'm going to turn the rest of the meeting over to James, my co-host. My name is David A. James and I co-host the fellowship forum. And James, welcome.
Thank you, David. I wrote some things to start the meeting off. I really like the fact that tomorrow is Easter. It's the spring celebration in many religions, Ramadan, Passover, and the topic of inspiration seemed appropriate. At this time of year when everything turns green and flowers start to bloom, it's a time of renewal and inspiration. The last paragraph of our preamble reads, "This renewal process is a gift of healing for us. By actively working the program of Codependents Anonymous, we can each realize a new joy, acceptance, and serenity in our lives." And the last paragraph of the welcome says, "No matter how traumatic your past or despairing your present may seem, there is hope for a new day in the program of Codependents Anonymous. No longer do you need to rely on others as a power greater than yourself. May you instead find here a new strength within to be that which God intended, precious and free." Today's fellowship forum is on sources of inspiration available in CoDA and on the CoDA website, CoDA.org. I enter my day open to new possibilities and equal to the task. I feel I am enough. I have all that I need, and I have done enough. I look to my higher power for inspiration and direction. I look to my meeting for support and my CoDA friends for love, understanding, and companionship, especially David, who I think of as my brother in service. I would like to wish everyone here a happy holiday of renewal. The links on the CoDA website that connects us to YouTube. There are many speaker series and a new meditation video of the 12 promises that the communication committee and Daphne has worked on and came up with. Their beautiful videos and a lot more. I was working on with the sponsee who brought up the new CoDA workbook in draft form. They're a new tradition. They have the new tradition prayers and the step prayers, and there's a space underneath the questions where I could, when I edited the copy, I could put my answer in there, which worked out great for me. Anyway, to answer, you can put your answer under the question. Of course, in draft, that's only draft. I discovered this morning while the new 4th edition of the Green 12 by 12 available from the core website. I also saw at the core website that Growing Up in CoDA is also available now, and I bought them both. So our meeting is open for comments and questions. and anything you'd like to bring up.
Raise your hand if you would like to be unmuted so you can ask questions.
And there's in the reactions where you raise your hand.
Yeah. I'm going to start sharing the CoDA.org website. Marilyn, welcome.
Hi. I understand that we are a fellowship, a spiritual fellowship, and not a religious one. And I would like to understand why religion was brought into the opening today.
James, would you like to respond?
Probably because I didn't know better. I just thought that it was Easter weekend, and the topic of inspiration coming up, and we didn't even talk about what the day was, and it was that day. So it is. I will admit that it is absolutely unrelatable, and it is unrelated, and it is my mistake to bring it up. But as a human being, there is a process of renewal in the spring. So I apologize for bringing any religion. I thought if I included everyone, that it would be okay. But I have to admit it was my mistake, and I probably shouldn't have done that. And I'm still in training, so I ask for your forbearance. Thank you.
Thank you, James. And Tom, welcome. You have a question or you would like to say something?
Yeah, I'm new and I'm actually Tom M. So I guess I have to fix that and probably figure out how to put a picture or mugshot in. And I will be happy to do that. But I am looking forward to this process.
Thank you, Tom, and welcome. Great to have you here. Okay. So here is a screen share of the CoDA.org webpage as it has been redesigned. And some of the things you may have used or be familiar with, such as the Meetings tab, where you can search for meetings. And for a long time, the meetings listed at CoDA were out of date, needed updating, and CoDA is working on that now. They have put some people in place. People have stepped up to do service. And recently I received an email asking me to update a meeting that I have been involved with for many years. And so I know that effort is being made to bring the meeting list up to date. There is a literature, meeting materials, something you may be looking for, member resources, meeting materials. This is a good place to go to find a lot of the free literature that is available at CoDA.org. Clicking on meeting materials, you can go down this list and find a lot of material that, and let's see, I think under literature, I thought there was an easy link. I guess where it is looking for the link to the free materials. Service and free materials. This is a great place to go. Of course, you have to click a couple of times to get there, but this is an excellent place to find all of the stuff that's available for download at no cost, including downloadable versions of the CoDA pamphlets, not the booklets, but the little pamphlets that you used to have to buy at 30 cents a piece because it was costing more money to ship them than was being achieved by the sale at 30 cents a piece. They now bundle these pamphlets in 25. But if you just want one copy, you can click on this and download a copy of that and print it out or just keep it as a PDF. One of the things that I have found really useful and has been much improved is the search box right here. If I type in this, if I'm looking for information about sponsorship, and I type that in there and hit the enter key, it will bring me to a list of a lot of information about sponsorship. Helps me find it. And then I can drill down, resources for sponsors. And so I'm wondering if anyone else has discovered anything secrets they'd like to share and things they've discovered about using the CoDA website.
I found that link to YouTube.
Oh, yeah, how to find the CoDA YouTube channel. Well, besides the fact that I believe I put a link to it in our chat box, but that might not be available to you. What happens if I type in YouTube? If I spell it correctly and hit enter, does that help me find the CoDA YouTube channel? I have to click on audio-visual resources. And there it is, CoDA YouTube channel with here are the promises that have been produced by the Communications Committee that you can listen to. It looks like they have posted all 12 promises, James.
Yes.
Here is the step 1 fellowship forum that took place a year ago. There's a lot of information at CoDA.org. So the challenge, of course, has been finding it. Lately, I have found that the search box works a lot better than it ever used to. So I think somebody was raising a hand and I need to change my view. Yes, Henry, welcome.
Thank you very much, David and James, for your service. I'm glad to be here. Henry, recovering codependent for life, working the program of Codependents Anonymous. I wanted to mention that there are 2 sections of facts. I know that I have been having to teach myself where to go to find things. I like to move myself around a lot, especially when when in a meeting or somebody's asking for information to be able to go find it quicker. The first section of the facts is in the newcomer section, which is a really good place for newcomers to go find information. And then there's the facts under the meeting materials, your literature. So it's two sections that are labeled facts, which is good to know that they are not the same, they're different. Just wanted to mention that.
Are you talking about,
Thank you.
Henry, I'd like to go there. Are you talking FAQs?
So under newcomers, the last tab is facts.
New COMMERS, yes.
Yeah, when you hover over
It helps if I spell it correctly. That's what happens if you don't spell words correctly.
So just it's in the tabs. Newcomers, meetings, literature, the one under newcomers.
Meetings, literature.
First one, newcomers.
Meeting materials, or I don't see newcomers there.
Newcomers, David, on the left
All the way to
side.
the left.
Oh yeah. Now that I'm here, because it's
No, in the tabs.
okay. Oh, newcomers. Duh. If it were a snake, it would have
Facts.
bit me. Thank you.
Okay.
There's just so much
Last one,
information
fact.
here. I go on sensory overload.
It's a little jumbled. It takes some getting used to knowing and getting to know this website. Yeah.
Let me see if I can. Oh, I have to select. So what am I picking from? FAQs. Yes.
Yeah, the facts. And that's the frequently asked questions. And all the way at the bottom, one that I use a lot is to go look for that 30-second rule. There's also the one with the crosstalk and the for safety's sake 10th card in there. And here, wait a minute, am I in the wrong place? Hold on.
And what was the other one?
I was in the wrong place. I was in the other one. So this is the one that has all the, the meeting questions for newcomers. Can I copy endorse CoDA endorsed literature? What is CoDA approved literature? Can my group use non-CoDA service conference endorsed literature? Those are really great resources. And then the 30-second rule near the bottom.
And what was the other FAQ page? Where is that?
That's under literature meeting materials.
Another FAQ page.
And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, the 8th one down is the one with the yellow, which is facts. There it is.
And
this one
yes.
has all this other stuff.
Amazing how much information is available at CoDA.org.
Yeah, it's too bad some of this information isn't available to be able to download as a PDF. You have to actually copy if you wanted to this information and then do it yourself.
That's great. Thanks for pointing out that there are two FAQ pages with completely different information on them. The one, then there may be some overlap in the information contained. CoDA has a new CoDA teen area. CoDA has been working diligently to develop a program spurred on by a lot of the mothers and people in Mexico. And there's a lot of that, the work that they have done has been posted to this CoDA teen area. This is new there. Right now, there is at least one online CoDA team meeting that occurs every Friday evening. And there is a link to that right here on the front of the homepage. The top of the homepage has sliders with topical information and links you can just click on, like the upcoming CSC 2024, CSC ICC, requests from the Literature Committee for submissions. Anyone have is there any? I stopped to read an email, sorry. Is there anyone that has any other information about that they've discovered at the CoDA.org website they would like to share with us today? Any problems in finding information? Was there information you were looking for that you couldn't find but thought ought to be available at CoDA.org? So acts of omission, acts of commission, anything you've discovered or were looking for and couldn't find. I think that the people working on the website have done a admirable job in updating and making the information a lot easier to find. It has been a massive undertaking to migrate from the previous configuration and website to this SQL Server based user-friendly website. Although some people have told me they didn't find it so friendly. One of the reasons for offering this today's fellowship forum. Excuse me. James, do you have anything you'd like to add?
Yes. I am on the outreach committee, and we respond to comments, and we work on this website all the time. And the communication committee, they take phone calls and the emails that come in, and they make sure that they get to the right place so that we can respond to comments that people make. So we try to be proactive in updating the website and listening to the members. It's not just static. In my home group, my home group in Philadelphia, we had a website that never changed in like 20 years. So I know the pitfalls of not maintaining your website, and after a while, nobody visits it. So we want to make sure that it is a website that everybody wants to use, and where there's available useful information there, and it's updated. And one of the biggest problems that we've had is updating the meetings. So we want to make sure that everybody understands that if a meeting goes out of business, we need to be told that they stopped meeting. And if they change the contact person, we need to know that. And if they change their user ID, passwords, and all that kind of stuff, CoDA needs to know that. So contact us and let us know, when you make changes to your contact on the CoDA website, because it belongs to everyone. And if everyone participates, it's useful to everyone. And that's my comment, David. It's just like CoDA. It's all a group conscience process for everyone.
Here's an example of the depth of what's available at the CoDA website. This is a listing of all the board positions and liaisons. So we have an email addresses, should you be, and all I had to do was put in CoDA board, and a link to this page came up. Everyone at CoDA board, members at large of the CoDA board, board alternates, other positions, world committees, links to all of the world committees, who is the board liaison and backup for those committees. The Healthy Meeting Task Force. This is an amazing amount of information that has been made available at CoDA.org. This is even available as a printable PDF. Any questions? Yes, Mary. Welcome. Let me.
Okay, thank you. On the topic of the board, I'm interested in where would we find the information that guides the board in its role?
Let's see. Probably I would begin by searching the FSM Fellowship Service Manual for board role of the board, and then I'm sure there is more information in the Articles of Incorporation and bylaws of for CoDA. Well,
I'm wondering if there's additional board guidelines that they've created for themselves that we don't have access to if we're not a board member?
I think anything the board does, since that's a very good question, Marilee. Anything the board does, it is acting on behalf of the fellowship.
Well,
yeah, for 1
should
week.
be.
Yes, well, that's what it says in our policies and procedures, that when we meet at CSC, the fellowship is in charge, and the rest of the year the board is acting on our behalf. So what happens if
Right. Where's that printed?
Okay.
And how do they operate within themselves?
Okay.
I've attended board meeting and got a report. They talked about this or they decided that, but their meetings are not accessible. Anytime they're actually discussing a topic or voting,
That's
one's
not
welcome.
true. I don't agree with. I'd have to say, I have
That's been my
attended.
experience.
Okay. It's not true. I have a different experience, Marilee. Board meetings are announced. They do go into executive session, and that portion of the meeting is closed. But
Right. Where's the guideline that tells us what they can talk about in executive session versus what they need to talk about publicly, like we do at CSC?
Right. What happens if I put in BOARD board GUIDELINES? Maybe I want to say CoDA board guidelines and see what comes up. And Henry has a hand up. Yes, Henry.
Okay, so if I may chime in here, if you go to member resources, the tab member resources, all the way at the bottom, World Service Info. Down here, there's two things I wanted to mention. The first is the 2024 delegate package. If you were to actually click on that, that will take you to where the motions summaries will be. And there is also, find it down here. There's where it says new down below. It says motion form 2024. That is the way that somebody can present a motion for the next conference, is using that form, just in case anyone at any point wants to look at it.
Not just anyone. Very few people can put that form in.
Yeah.
Well, voting, you could actually do that. Right. So, so the other thing that I wanted to say,
CSC, that's not the board.
Okay, 1 second. I wanted to drill down on that that link to the new motion form. I think I passed it where that's up here. Right. I want to make sure that this is working. Somebody mentioned recently that link was not working. It's not a link. What it is a download. When you click on it, it downloads the document to your download folder or whatever folder you have designated where downloads will occur. So the link does seem to be working, and I just wanted to check that because somebody said
it does download with the attention.
Right. And then, Marilee, you had a clarification on who can submit motions. So we need to make sure that that's clear, that motions can be submitted by committees, the board, the core board, and voting entities. If you have a motion you would like submitted, you need to bring it to the attention of your intergroup, your voting entity, or a committee if you belong to that committee. Motions can also be submitted from the floor by individuals
who have voting rights.
Yes. A delegate can submit a motion. That is true. These are good points. But to get back to your question, I think when we were looking at on this side right here.
I was going
to. Yes, Henry.
Yeah, I was going to mention that in the service info page on the right-hand side in yellow is the board. And there you can click on board meeting minutes, or if you click on the CoDA board main page, that will show that's where you can find the CoDA bylaws and that information on the CoDA board. It's just something that I found, just wanted to share it.
Yeah, does it say CoDA bylaws? Is there a link that's clearly labeled CoDA bylaws?
It says, yes. Okay, so if you click on CoDA board main page.
Yes. Okay. So the thing with the CoDA information is it is nested quite deep.
Yes. And in that paragraph, the first paragraph, it says the CoDA bylaws, and then you can click on that, which will bring up a PDF of the CoDA bylaws.
So that's I think speaks to Marilee's point that this information sometimes can be difficult to find. But I would suggest that if you do have the question that you raised is something I know when I attend board meetings, they do announce them. You can sign up for a tickler to be notified of CoDA board meetings. They hold them on a regular basis. I believe the same day of the month. I could try and look that up. And at some point before they go into executive session, they do allow for a question or response from observers. So, Marilee, I think that some of the questions you asked, to get the answer to those would be if you attend a CoDA board meeting, you could posit those questions at the meeting. There will a time and space is made available for those kinds of questions. That's my experience. And maybe
If you go down a little bit more, there's more links.
And so we also see another link to the bylaws.
Once again, the policy and procedures, the board strategic plan, the board presentation of the 2023 CSC, and the minutes.
And
so
along with the CoDA minutes.
All together.
And I don't know if the minutes include decisions made in executive session. I think executive session is usually discussing topics about possibly individuals or individual issues, not for general participation. And Henry, your hand is still up. Marilyn, let's go to you.
Oh, sorry.
And what I'm going to do is I'm going to enable people to unmute themselves. And in the interest, it's not a big room today. In the interest of simplicity, you should be able to unmute yourself now, Marilyn.
There we go. Thank you. So I was required to attend a board meeting. And one of the things that was on the minutes that they had talked about and reported about was that they had discussed whether the word assure or insure is the appropriate word to be used in some of their documents, and that was done in closed session. So I am suggesting that there are an awful lot of things that are done in the board's closed session inappropriately, and that talking about an individual person or an employee's employment status or wages would be, in my opinion, about the only thing that would be allowed or appropriately to be in closed session. The fact that I was allowed to ask a question or make a comment at the end of the meeting is not at all what I consider to be an open meeting.
Okay. I want to thank you for sharing that. At the same time, I want to kind of steer us back to the topic of today's fellowship forum, which is about using the CoDA.org website rather than,
Yes.
although that your question could be a topic for a future fellowship forum. What does the board do? How do they do it? And should their activities be more transparent? I think could be an excellent fellowship forum topic.
I would agree. Looking back at the website that you are showing the page of the board in that yellow place on the right.
Let me go back to that. And then I will bring that up on the screen again.
That was under World Fellowship, I think.
Yes, under
World Service.
Under Membership Resources, World Services.
Yeah. And I think that second one there, the Board of Trustees, policy and procedures. So I think that each committee has their own policy and procedures, and I think the board does too. And so I'm glad to see that this is here. And it probably will answer several of my questions of what the board thinks it's supposed to do.
One can hope.
I'm wondering if you might click on it and just look at
Absolutely. Let's
titles
go see what it's
within
about.
there.
Yay. It's a PDF that is downloadable. It is the Board of Trustees Policies and Procedures Manual, revised July 3rd, 2021. Oh, sorry, I did not mean to go that quickly. So organization, the Board of Trustees, liaison duties, it outlines in outline form, it is, I'm wondering if they have any, there we go, content. That's the 12 steps, 12 traditions. Is there anything, this is probably service concepts, yes, service concepts. Is there anything more? Yes, and we have here articles of incorporation. So it exactly some of the things we mentioned are right here available online.
Well, this is just a legal document with the basic things that are required. It doesn't really tell about the organization specifically.
What I like seeing is Ken Richardson's name on this document. February 1987, 5th of February. I wonder why we celebrate CoDA's birthday as October 22nd, 1986. So the articles of incorporation weren't signed until 6 months later.
Right. So that just means that they started the organization before they got it incorporated.
Right.
That's all.
Yeah.
Like I said, that's just a legal thing. It doesn't really tell anything about CoDA.
Well, it's historical.
Right.
It could be hysterical as well.
Thank you.
Thank you, Marilee. Excellent question. Any other questions, comments? We have 15 minutes left. We have a few minutes left before we wind down the meeting. I know this wasn't the most interesting material to discuss, but it is important to know that CoDA is making an effort to be more user-friendly and get its meetings up to date and make the information available and updating the website. It sometimes takes a while to get things posted there, but you can now find a long version of the Serenity Prayer at CoDA.org, and it's free to download. You can find the Growing Up in CoDA pamphlet that was endorsed at CoDA conference in Houston 2023. So they are making an effort to get the information listed on the CoDA website in a more timely fashion. I believe also the I and we versions of the patterns of recovery document that was endorsed at 2023 CSC is now also posted at CoDA.org. There is so much information that is posted there that I hope you find it easier to find what you're looking for at CoDA.org. Yes, Kelly, welcome.
Hi, Kelly, grateful recovering codependent and CoDA Teen Secretary. I have a question about the website and that is outsourced. Is that correct? Is that why there's the delay in getting things posted and corrections done at this point?
What was the last part of that? That is why there is a...
Are they outsourced? Is that a separate company? It's not somebody within CoDA?
Yes.
So that it's a paid outsourced company that we're using to do that webpage?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm going to, let's see, I think, yes, you're absolutely correct, Kelly. And the webmaster is Carlos. Florence has been the web liaison. I believe she is stepping down from that position. I don't know who will be taking that on. I have heard it said that she is retiring as web liaison, and I'm looking for task force other. Where is that? I know.
I just noticed that a lot of the intergroups maybe use information from CoDA to put onto their own web pages, and that seems to get posted like fairly quickly with their own web people.
Yeah.
And yet getting something posted at coda.org like takes weeks and weeks. And my other question about that was, are the intergroups, would they have objection to us sending out like a blast using the intergroup list from coda.org? And or do we need to get permission, would you think, from the board or something like that to use that list?
I believe you do need to apply for permission to use those lists.
Okay.
Then you can't just, yeah. So
Okay.
write to the board or events or let's see. Yeah, this is the thing I was looking for. Independent contractors, yes.
Yes. Okay.
The web developer is Intersection Online.
Intersection Online. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
to get in touch with them, you would write to the board, the liaison to Intersection, which would be Florence, but I believe she's stepping down. Yes, Pat, welcome. Wait, before you chime in, did that speak to your question, Kelly?
Yes. Thank you very much.
Okay. Last question from Pat.
I think what you talked about.
Can you lean closer to your mic, Pat? It's really hard to hear you.
I'm sorry, I'm right on top of it. Can you hear me?
I'm turning my volume up really loudly. Go ahead. Let us know if Pat, I need to repeat Pat's comments. Go ahead, Pat.
I don't know what's wrong with my phone, but anyway, that would be a great topic to see what the board's responsibilities and things are. That would be a great topic. But I would also like to send out a shout to all of the people that work on the website. They do a great job, and I know that about 50 people do the job of what other agencies use 1,000 people for. So I would just like to say thank you. And it's a great resource, the web page is, and I know there's glitches with everything, and they just don't have all the resources to be able to do it as quickly as we would like sometimes, but it's well put together, and I appreciate all of the people that have worked so hard at making it all the resources available. It's fantastic.
Thank you, Pat, and thanks for being here and your comments. Henry, if it's one last comment, briefly, please.
Yes, Henry again, recovering codependent for life. The alternative format meetings voting entity also wanted to do an email blast, and we couldn't do it. We need to get authorization also. So the same thing happened with us with that voting entity. We couldn't use that information. It's something that needs to be approved by CoDA itself. Just wanted to share that. Thank you.
Thank you for that information.
Thank you, Henry. It is now time to wrap up our fellowship forum for March. Next week, next month, excuse me, next month's fellowship forum will be Saturday, April 27th at 12 p.m. Pacific time, 3 p.m. Eastern time. Links to the fellowship forum information are in the chat. You can save the chat to your computer by clicking the ellipse, the three dots at the top of the chat box, so that you can review this information at your convenience. Next month, we hope to have a speaker or speakers from the Delegate Relations Committee. If you would like to speak or bring a topic to the fellowship forum, some suggestions were made today. Please get in touch with us either at either of our email addresses, ff@codependence.org or comchair@coda.org. The fellowship forum is a production of the Communications Committee. James Kay and myself, co-hosts of the Fellowship Forum, are members of the Communications Committee. It is a good idea, if you are writing to us at comchair@coda.org, that you put an FF in the subject line so that we know it is for the Fellowship Forum. Thank you all for being here and helping make the Fellowship Forum possible. Every month, we meet on the last Saturday of every month, except the month that CSC is in session. It would be a conflict. Okay, we'll close with the closing CoDA closing prayer, which I will share on the screen. And everyone is welcome to join in. We thank our higher power for all that we have received from this meeting. As we close,
may we take with us
the
wisdom, love,
acceptance, and hope of recovery. And I might add, I hope you all have felt you learned something about CoDA.org today.